Welcome to Jadwiga's Fairy Tale Channel. In Germany, we know that there is a man in the moon, and maybe in other countries of Europe too. But the story I'm going to tell you now is from the Chippewa, and they have a woman in the moon. And how she came up there, I'll tell you now. Once there was a chief with his wife and single daughter, and the daughter was very beautiful. Now, when she grew older, her father told her to look out for a husband. But the girl said, "Why should I get married? I have you, father, I have mother, and that's all I need. I don't want a husband." The chief was not happy with this decision of his daughter, and he tried again and again, but she always said, "No, I don't want a husband. I don't need a husband. I'm very happy the way I am." Now the chief asked the elders, and the elders suggested, well, let all the young men who want to get married to your daughter make a run. And the one who is first, who is fastest, he should marry your daughter. Yeah, that's a good idea. And many, many young men came because the chief's daughter was not only beautiful and smart, she was very good at all the skills a Chippewa woman needs to do. So, as I said, many young men, but all of the families and everybody came to join this feast. And there was singing, there was dancing, there was drumming. Everybody was in a very good mood, except the chief's daughter. She was sitting in the tent, weeping bitterly. Now the young men got up on their places and took their position and start, and off they ran. And very soon, two young men left the others behind. But when they reached the line, it was not possible to say who was first. Well, let's repeat that run. Again, they ran, but they were exactly the same. Let them jump. So they jumped, but they were exactly equal. They jumped the same distance. Also, when they repeated that. Well, let them shoot with their arrows. And they shot. What shall I tell you? Their arrows went exactly at the same spot in the middle of that sheet. So they should go for hunting. The next morning, the two men took their horses each, and one went this way and the other went this way. And when they returned at night, both of them had caught a bear, a wolf, two raccoons, and a couple of squirrels. Now the chief looked up to his chief and said, "Well, I understand you don't want my daughter to get married." Message received. And of course, the young Chippewa woman was very, very happy. And so she lived with her parents for a couple of years, and one day the now mid-aged woman was going up on a hill for picking berries. And after her basket was filled with delicious little berries, she sat down on that hill and she looked over the lake down there, over the meadow, the trees. the moon rose above the lake, the big full moon. And the woman sighed and said, well, my parents' hair turned gray and now it's white, and I know they will leave me soon. I have no children of my own and never will have some. I have no siblings, no aunts or uncles or cousins. So once my parents are gone, I will be all alone here. Oh, and she looked to the moon and said, oh, my dear moon, if only I could be your wife. And believe it or not, the moon stretched out his arms and took her to its chest. After a while, her father became concerned because she had not returned back home. So he went up on that hill where he knew she wanted to pick berries. And he was looking for her. He was calling her name. And then he saw the basket with the berries. And he was frightened because something terrible must have happened to her. And he looked around and again called her name. And then he looked up to the moon, and he saw his daughter in the arms of the moon, smiling happily. And so he waved to her, saying goodbye, and he went back home to tell his wife that their daughter was in very good hands, and that they could leave this planet without being concerned for her daughter. The woman in the moon.